This phone here is Nokia's last mid-range effort before its entire smartphone business got rebranded as Microsoft Lumia. This is Daniel from PhoneArena with the Lumia 830. The handset will be updated to the unifying Windows 10 when it lands later this year, so it is far from irrelevant still. Lumia 830 is hardly a spec-out device when it comes to the main mobile components, but Nokia has thrown in a couple of perks that set it apart not only in the Windows Phone crowd, but also from mainstream Androids. Can a 10-megapixel optically stabilized camera and Nokia's rich recording with surround sound audio be enough to prevent the Lumia 830 from sinking into oblivion before Windows 10 hits? Let's see. At first brush, the Lumia 830 is the typical Lumia Nokia has been churning out since the brand's inception, with a polycarbonate chassis that is available in numerous flashy colors. Here, however, we don't have the traditional unibody design, but rather an easy-to-pry-off rear cover that reveals a swappable battery pack, as well as the nano SIM and microSD card slots. The phone is somewhat tall and heavy for a 5-incher, but its chassis feels very solid in the hand. The matte polycarbonate on the back prevents it from slipping, and the keys concentrated on the right-hand side are all big enough, with good tactile feedback and easy to find and press without looking. Overall, the Lumia 830 feels like a chunky but very solid piece of hardware that should serve you well a long time. Lumia 830 sports a 5-inch HD IPS display with several display modes to choose from, letting you play around with color temperature, tint and saturation sliders. The color accuracy of the screen in the default mode is excellent, with neither too cold nor too warm or oversaturated hues. At close to 500 nits, the phone's display is bright enough to be used comfortably outdoors, but its contrast is not as good as the one on the Lumia 930, for instance, so you'd have a slightly subpar experience reading the screen under the bright sunlight compared with the flagship. Covered by sculpted Gorilla Glass 3, the Nokia Lumia 830 screen should withstand more than a few bumps and scratches, and as usual, it also features a super sensitive touch layer, meaning that you can operate it with your gloves on. The phone sports all the bells and whistles that Microsoft's mobile platform can currently offer, and was already promised to be in line for the upcoming Windows 10 upgrade. The denim update introduced a host of new features, including a drag-down action center that is home to all of your notifications, and also to 4 toggles that you can conveniently use to quickly adjust brightness and connectivity as well. As for set notifications, you can swipe them away one by one to discard them, or you can clear them all in bulk, like the heads-up notification system that is in Android Lollipop, for example. Windows Phone 8.1 has also gotten plentiful of new customization options built in, including the capability to finally have a start background on your home screen. Well, kind of, as it is not plastered behind the tiles like it will be in Windows 10, but rather works as a common tile background. Thus, the basic functionality is well covered, and Microsoft bundles a bunch of useful apps, while Nokia also chips in. You have a rich phone book, and the keyboard experience is one of the best out there, with well-spaced keys and a reassuring clicky sounds when you type. When it comes to third-party apps though, that is still another beer. Half a million or not, some of the ones you used to are still missing here. A quad-core Snapdragon 400 chipset clocked at 1.2 GHz is nothing to get excited about in the Lumia 830. This processor is now at the low end of Qualcomm spectrum and is coupled with 1 GB of RAM only. Windows Phone doesn't ask for much in terms of processing power though, so the interface runs quite smooth, but heavy 3D games might be a chore for you. Nokia supplied the handset with 16 GB of internal storage, plus a memory card slot for expansion. The Mobile Internet Explorer 11 browser has been updated to be faster and with tons of new features like an incognito and reading modes, and you also get the option to go back and forward in pages by just swiping left or right like on some other mobile browsers we know, which is neat. Another option that is particularly nice is pinning web pages to the start screen. The site then appears live tiles showing you the page in its latest, most up-to-date state, serving as a living bookmark here. The browsing experience overall is very smooth, and you can scroll around and zoom in or out of pages without any lag. The Lumia 830 supports both a pentaband 4G LTE modem or speedy 42 megabits per second HSPA Plus download, depending on the carrier you're on and its network speed setup. Other connectivity options include Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.0, assisted GPS, DONA and NFC. With a good 5-inch display, the Lumia 830 has got the core asset for enjoying media on the go. It is also pretty conducive to pictures and video editing, and the Microsoft Nokia duo are supplying free apps with rich functionality for both of those undertakings. For music, Nokia's Mix Radio is traditionally a great option for enjoying tunes on the go. It has Spotify-like on-demand music streaming at a very low price, but you can also use a lot of the functionality for free with ready-made channels for your favorite artists. Sound output via the loudspeaker is rather strong with its 80 decibels and sounds pretty decent too. The stock video player runs MPEG-4, DivX or XVD files set up to 1080p resolution without a hitch, but the MKV container is a no-go, regardless of the footage resolution. The video player now has subtitles and caption support as well. The 10-megapixel PureView rear camera is not what your typical mid-ranger comes equipped with, as it sports 6-element lens and optical image stabilization. The phone comes with a 2-stage shutter key on the side, and the shot-to-shot times may take 3 to 4 seconds, so it is not exactly a camera speed king. Nokia camera has got a very convenient interface, rich in manual controls that don't get in the way when you don't need them. There are handy sliders for features like white balance, ISO, shutter speed and so on. Outdoors, the photo's tonality sometimes leans on the warm yellowish side a bit compared to the actual hues in front of the camera, but there are no testy exposure or white balance issues, plus the phone captures plenty of detail, or at least as much as we would expect from the camera's 10-megapixel resolution. Indoors, the camera returns a rather realistic color representation, which doesn't lean on the warm or cold side of the spectrum. In addition, the photos come out with well-defined objects and the image is sharp throughout the frame. Sometimes the phone doesn't fire the usual pre-flash, so in relative darkness it might return soft, unfocused shots. Lumia 830 can shoot up to 1080p video with fluid 30 frames per second, which runs smooth and uninterrupted by handshake, thanks to the stabilization tech that is built in. Details are plenty and exposure compensation rapid when panning around, but the colors are too warm and saturated to be called accurate. The phone has an ace up its video recording sleeve though. The sound quality, which thanks to the 3 high-amplitude microphones, is very good. You have a few options: a normal stereo, surround sound, Dolby, or sound with noise filters applied. Nokia's default setting recommends the 100Hz filter though, which we also found to be a good compromise between capturing voices and eliminating exceptional background noise. While a very decent Windows Phone device, the Nokia Lumia 830 has a steep hill to climb against mid-range Androids with its current price. The biggest advantages of the Lumia 830 against said Androids are the excellent sound recording ability that the 3 high-amplitude mix bring about, and the color-accurate display. Also, not many phones at that price point come with optical image stabilization for flawless video recording. On the minus side, the earpiece call quality is not that good, flash shots are sometimes murky, and the chipset might stall at heavy 3D gaming. At its price point, you can find many formidable Android competitors like the LG G2, Huawei's Honor 6 with 1080p displays, faster chipsets and a lighter build, while Benjamin Moore, for example, can now get you the LG G3. The arrival of Windows 10 might change things for the Lumia 830, but for now, unless you need quality video sound recording on the go, we'd advise you to wait for the inevitable price drop and/or Windows 10. This was Daniel from PhoneArena with a video review of the Nokia Lumia 830. For more information about this and other handsets, you can visit us at PhoneArena.com. Thanks for watching.